Get ready to be amazed. The gaming industry isn't slowing down, and what awaits us this year isn't just another batch of game releases, but real surprises. New IPs, bold ideas, unexpected genre mixes, and visuals that are hard to look away from. Today, I've gathered 20 completely new games that will blow your mind this year, so get comfortable because what follows is going to be very interesting. Let's go! Prepare your wallets, gamers. Experienced investment analyst Matthew Ball, an employee at Pioner, recently stated that GTA 6 won't just bring Rockstar and Take-Two huge commercial success, but will become a real price breakthrough for the entire gaming industry. According to his report, Take-Two might set prices for GTA 6 ranging from $90 to, pay attention, $150. The price will vary depending on the edition, and if this happens, other major companies will have carte blanche to also raise the cost of their AAA releases to $100 and above. Back in 2020, friends, Take-Two was one of the first companies to decide on raising the base price from $60 to $70, and of course, all other companies thought, are we any worse? And jacked up the price to $70-$80. Expectations around the 6th installment are simply colossal. So guys, it seems we need to start a little piggy bank for GTA 6 and slowly put money aside for the game. Because no matter how much we resist the new pricing policy, and I'm 100% sure, we'll buy this game through gritted teeth. The marketers, those pests, understand this perfectly and take advantage of it. Poor gamers, we're being fleeced again. So yes, let's save up, friends. A game called Ferocious. A game inspired by classic adventure stories like King Kong and Jurassic Park, as well as modern tactical shooters like Crysis 3 or the more iconic Turok. Ferocious immerses players in intense jungle combat. It's a tactical survival shooter set on a mysterious tropical island in the Pacific Ocean. A distress signal came from there, sent by journalists whom the main character must find and rescue. However, when he arrives, he discovers prehistoric creatures on the island that wouldn't mind tasting human flesh. The main character, using all his combat skills and weapons, must survive and uncover the truth about why someone is trying to hide information about the island by any means possible. The game will feature a wide arsenal of weapons, beautiful graphics, destructible environments, and the ability to explore the game world using various vehicles. The game is being created on Unreal Engine 5. The release is planned for early 2025. Cthulhu, the Cosmic Abyss. A psychological horror inspired by Lovecraft's works. The main character, Noah, is an agent of a secret Interpol department that specializes in various occult phenomena. Your new mission is to investigate the disappearance of miners who were working at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. What were they doing there? Don't ask, I don't know myself. During the investigation, Noah finds himself in Arlia, an ancient sunken city where Cthulhu himself is imprisoned. In this dark labyrinth full of anomalies and otherworldly horrors, you'll need to solve complex puzzles and resist the mind-destroying influence of ancient Cthulhu. With him will be Kui, an advanced artificial intelligence that will help unravel the mysteries of this sinister place. The game will release in late 2025 or early 2026. It's coming to PlayStation 5, PlayStation 5 Pro, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Half-Life 3. The new Half-Life installment, for those who missed recent news, is already in the final stage of development. And recently, data miner Gabe appeared again with fresh news. He published a new video dedicated to Half-Life 3, which, as he previously reported, is undergoing internal testing. According to him, the game may already be in a state where Valve could tease certain elements, so official news might appear soon. Meanwhile, here's what's become known. Half-Life 3 will be the finale of Gordon Freeman's story, without any cliffhangers like in previous parts. Also, there might be some spin-offs in the future. The developers see the third part as a kind of farewell gift to all franchise fans who have been waiting for the third part for a long time. With this part, they'll completely finish the Half-Life story. It's actually kind of sad to hear such news. It's also known that the future game may have locations with a very large number of NPCs, so I understand that maybe the new part will have a big city, or perhaps more than one. But despite the project undergoing internal tests, this doesn't necessarily mean development is almost complete. Also in the foreseeable future, data miner Gabe promised to share new leaks with spoilers. And friends, this is all unofficial information so far, so all the previously mentioned information should be taken simply as a rumor, nothing more, nothing. Forest Reigns. VG Entertainment, known for the game Servarium and other post-apocalyptic games, has announced a new survival game. It's a first-person story-driven shooter, which is somewhat unexpected after purely online projects. The core developers are former members of GSC Game World, developers of the first Stalker, veterans skilled at creating fantastic worlds. They were previously constrained by multiplayer frameworks, and hopefully in the new game, they can let loose. Forest Rains will offer survival in post-apocalyptic Paris, covered with wild forest and filled with dangerous animals. The game will have non-linear storytelling with multiple missions. Each choice will affect the plot and ending. One of the key features will be interactive environments. You can explore the dangerous game world alone or in company with other players. You'll be able to cooperate or even compete with different factions. We're promised realistic surroundings and extensive options for upgrading and customizing weapons. Forest Rains is designed in a vibrant style. By the way, minimum system requirements are already listed on the Steam page. And don't be surprised, friends, but you'll need at least an RTX 3060 to play this game. Regarding the release date, nothing is known yet. Resident Evil 9. Capcom remains silent about the future of Resident Evil 9, but rumors, friends, are becoming more interesting. Insider Dusk Golem, whose statements occasionally turn out to be true, recently claimed that Resident Evil 9 will become a real reimagining of the series, just as Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 7 were in their time. This is precisely why the 9th part has such a long development cycle. Capcom Studio wants to present us with a fresh look at the series and won't copy the 7th, 8th, or any other part. According to Dusk Golem, the developers are preparing a completely new game style, as well as significant changes in mechanics and atmosphere. In short, fans can expect a breakthrough game in every sense. The main character will be Leon Kennedy. Initially, Jill also played an important role, but this time the developers decided to push her into the background, and she might not even appear. It's also already known that the game will take place 4 years after the events of Resident Evil Village. So, friends, the 9th part will conclude the events of Resident Evil 7 and Village. According to Dusk Golem, Resident Evil 9 will be announced before the end of this year. True, not everyone believes Dusk Golem's words, as his Resident Evil insights haven't always come true, but overall among all Resident Evil insiders, his information can be trusted. There were moments when he predicted everything down to the smallest details and everything eventually came true. Well, let's hope this time he won't let us down either. Hell is Us. Developers from the Canadian studio Rogue Factor have published a new 7-minute gameplay video of their dark third-person adventure action game, Hell is Us. The premiere took place during the March Nikon Connect 2025. The events of Hell is Us will take place in an alternate 1993 in the territory of the fictional state of Hydia, which is experiencing a civil war. The main character is Remy. He returns home trying to find his loved ones and deal with the consequences of the catastrophe in a country torn by internal strife. The presented video focuses on the process of exploring locations. The developers, by the way, noted once again that Hell is Us won't have task markers typical of modern games, and to find the right character or object, you'll have to rely on your navigation skills. There won't be a quest journal either, so your ability to correctly interpret and remember the hints you receive will definitely come in handy in this game. But you won't have to complete tasks completely blind, of course. Remy has a tablet where information about characters and locations will be recorded. So I understand it will be something like a pocket guide and bestiary. Therefore, yes, players will definitely form an understanding of the internal structure of the state of Hydia. Hell is Us will go on sale on September 4th this year. It will be available on PC, PS5 with improvements for PS5 Pro, and Xbox Series X and S. MindsEye. Build a Rocket Boy studio founded by Leslie Benzies, the lead developer of GTA 3 and subsequent successful parts of the series, up to the 5th part, has presented the first gameplay footage of MindsEye. This will be a story-driven single-player action game with adventure elements. The game will transport you to the near future where artificial intelligence collides with human greed, putting Earth on the brink of destruction. Gameplay is based on 3 key elements: an engaging plot, strategic combat, and dynamic driving, like in GTA. The developers will tell the story of Jacob Diaz, a former soldier with a MindsEye neuroimplant who decides to unravel the mystery of his past. He ends up in the fictional city of Red Rock, where he encounters the company that developed the implants. Soon he realizes that his personal mission takes on more global dimensions that could change the fate of the entire planet. MindsEye will offer battles both on land and in the air, including strategic cover mechanics and the use of technology for survival. So, friends, I understand this will be something in the spirit of GTA mixed with Cyberpunk and Watch Dogs. Well, let's see what the former lead developer of GTA games will surprise us with. The good news is that the game will be released in summer 2025 on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Alkahest. Pioner Studio, comprised of industry veterans, has presented Alkahest, an adventure RPG action game set in a dark medieval world with a first-person view. During its creation, the developers were inspired by Dishonored, Dark Messiah, Kingdom Come, and Skyrim. Alkahest brings players to the kingdom of Pioner, which is mired in feudal strife, with the balance between the three main houses in an extremely fragile position. At the center of the plot is the youngest son of a minor lord, who must earn his place in this cruel world. To prove himself, the protagonist decided to find out why goblins have started raiding cities more frequently. You can expect a highly interactive, well-developed world with open locations. The developers tried to maintain a balance between free world exploration and scripted gameplay. The setting emphasizes realism because the game is created on Unreal Engine 5. Alkahest doesn't have a release date yet, but it's already known that the adventure RPG will come to PC and yet-to-be-named consoles. After the failure of Suicide Squad, Rocksteady Studio has again shifted its attention to Batman, which I believe they should have done initially instead of testing the patience of Batman fans. And Jason Schreier had already reported this. And now information has appeared online confirming that the team is working on a new AAA game about the Dark Knight. A recently published vacancy for a senior core engine programmer fully reveals that the developers are working directly with low-level code and the Unreal Engine 5 engine, which isn't surprising as Rocksteady has always used Unreal Engine in their games, including the iconic Batman Arkham series. However, now the studio is moving to the latest version of the engine, which promises a significant technical leap. Also, by the way, the job listing mentions that the future game will be available on the next generation of consoles, but will also come to the current PlayStation 5 and Xbox series. When exactly we can expect the game is still unknown, but former PlayStation head Shuhei Yoshida believes that PlayStation 6 will be released in late 2027 or early 2028. That's approximately when, friends, we can expect a new Batman game. The Mount Omen of Cthulhu. It seems, friends, the world has spontaneously decided to celebrate Cthulhu Day, as we have another game on this theme. Cthulhu is really riding some kind of hype wave right now. A game called The Mount Omen of Cthulhu. This is a cooperative action game from the creators of Xenoclash. According to the plot, you and 3 other conquistadors, your friends, end up in cursed jungles full of countless riches and, of course, dangerous creatures. Each expedition takes you and your team deeper and deeper, but the greater the reward, the harder it is to return alive. Since the game is based on Lovecraftian myths, you'll have to watch your own sanity. And judging by the description, dark forces will constantly throw various hallucinations at you, sowing doubt and paranoia among your team. The Mount Omen of Cthulhu is promised to be released in 2025. The release will take place on PC as well as on PlayStation 5, 5 Pro, and Xbox Series X and S. Sony Santa Monica Studio is preparing a new game in the God of War universe, which will take place in the familiar world of Greek mythology. Game journalist Jeff Grubb recently reported this, referring to his time-tested sources. He says the game will be released this year, and according to Grubb, it won't be a remaster of one of the previous parts, or an addition to God of War Ragnarok. And rumor has it that Cory Barlog himself may be involved in the project. This person is responsible for creating the oldest parts, starting with God of War 2005. However, this won't be a full-fledged continuation of the series. Grubb also noted that the new project will likely be a spin-off rather than a continuation of the main lineup of games. It will be something like, for example, Spider-Man Miles Morales from Insomniac Games. Yes, it will be a full-fledged standalone project, but just with a more limited scope. Earlier, another journalist, Tom Henderson, also reported similar news. According to his information, the game will be a prequel to Kratos' story about his life in ancient Greece where he began his journey. The Kickstarter long runner Little Devil Inside hasn't disappeared into development hell, as many might have thought. After 2 years of silence, the NeoStream team published a 6-minute gameplay trailer and also typed out a small message to the community. If we believe the post, the collective is already negotiating regarding the publication of Little Devil Inside. This message encouraged many people who continue to wait for the release of Little Devil Inside. However, there were also those who don't believe in the project at all, and consider the developers to be deceivers. And here's what they say: "It's been almost 10 years. It's over. Tell people the truth. You've scammed us all, and there's definitely no trust in you anymore." And I remind you, friends, Little Devil Inside began its journey back in 2015 on Kickstarter, And for those who have forgotten what the game is about, well, at the center of Little Devil Inside is a story about how a university professor studies paranormal phenomena with the help of the main character. It is you who will have to travel around a huge picturesque world in search of various kinds of anomalies and different creatures. The game promises not only a single-player mode but also a cooperative one, so yes, you can play with your friends. The game is coming out, well, if it comes out, of course, on PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S. The approximate release date is the fourth quarter of 2025. At the recent Futures Games presentation, the Russian studio GFA Games presented a new gameplay trailer for their MMO shooter Pioner. This project is being developed by industry veterans who previously participated in the development of Stalker, Atomic Heart, and Metro Exodus. Pioner will be created on Unreal Engine 4 and will support weapon customization, raids, and various mini-games like fishing and casino. The game will offer us to explore a post-apocalyptic world with an area of more than 50 square kilometers with various factions, Soviet buildings, anomalies, and mutants. Well, everything that Stalker fans love. Pioner will have a story campaign for single-player, PvE missions, and PvP zones for battles between real players. The release of Pioneer is planned for 2025. The game will be released on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series platforms, but the exact release date hasn't been announced yet. But, by the way, the game's page is already available on Steam, so if you're interested in the game, add it to your wishlist. Assassin's Creed Black Flag Remake. Rumors about a remake of one of the most popular games in the Assassin's Creed series, Black Flag, have been gaining more and more publicity in recent months. New information from insider sources has added fuel to the fire. We've learned that Ubisoft may have already begun the playtesting phase of the project. This could be a sign of preparation for an imminent official announcement. According to reports, Ubisoft sent out a survey about Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which many fans took as indirect confirmation of active work on the remake. There were already rumors that the project is being developed on an updated version of the Anvil engine and includes significant improvements such as a new combat system, inspired by Souls-like game mechanics, reworked stealth mechanics, and the addition of realistic ecosystems. It's noteworthy that against the background of the delay in the release of Assassin's Creed Shadows, which has already happened but was pushed back from the original release dates, some analysts suggested postponing the Black Flag remake to 2026. However, fresh rumors hint that Ubisoft still plans to release the updated pirate action this year. I understand they simply want to hedge their bets and create a safety cushion in case Assassin's Creed Shadows fails in sales. So, despite the growing interest in the project, Ubisoft hasn't made any official statements yet. Previous rumors pointed to possible serious changes in gameplay, including a reworked combat system and an improved open world. If these insights are to be believed, the project will not just be a remaster, but a full-fledged reimagining of the original game. Well, time will tell. At the Future Games presentation, viewers were shown a very large number of horror games, including Animal Use Protocol, which is being developed by the Brotherhood Studio. The main character here is an incredibly smart monkey named Pen, who takes leadership over a group of other primates wishing to escape from a dangerous laboratory. And Pen is not only smart, but also equipped with advanced devices. For example, he uses a device that controls gravity. Pen doesn't travel alone, by the way. He's helped by a rat named Trip. The project creators reported that gamers can expect gameplay with a large share of location exploration, various puzzles, the importance of saving resources, and so on. And it's worth noting that Animal Use Protocol will also feature good optimization if we believe the developers. And it's reported that the developers plan to release the game in late 2025 or early 26. The game will first be released on PC and later on consoles. Storror Parkour Pro. This is an unparalleled parkour experience. Push the boundaries of movement and feel true freedom as you explore a vast dynamic world full of challenges, missions, and countless places for you and your friends. The game supports cooperative mode. You can leisurely run through the streets and rooftops of London's Dock Island, or stage an escape from security guards and police. Only you decide how to chart your course and by what rules. You'll find an advanced animation system that combines motion capture animations from the best parkour practitioners from around the world. All movements have been fully scanned and transferred into the game. There are no two identical movements here. Each parkour athlete has their individual style and set of tricks. You'll also be able to create your own parkour athlete, customize your appearance, Choose clothes and your personal style to express yourself not only through movements and tricks, but also through your personality. You can unlock clothes and rewards as you progress through the city and complete missions. Early access to the game is planned for early 2025. Blight Survival. This is a medieval cooperative game where you and 3 players will fight Walking Dead and bandits in a desperate attempt to find and destroy the source of the plague, a terrible disease destroying the land. The game is set in a god-forsaken country where 2 desperate kingdoms wage endless war. In this purgatory, a type of plague has emerged from the remains of the fallen in battle. Gaining strength and feeding on spilled blood, it spreads rapidly, turning people into monsters. All people rely only on you and your allies. You, the only brave souls, need to venture into the unknown and end the relentless plague. Viewers met the first gameplay of Blight Survival with rave reviews, especially regarding the graphics, animation, and atmosphere. Some also spotted elements of another zombie action game and have already dubbed the game a medieval The Last of Us. Blight Survival doesn't have a release date yet, but it does have a page on Steam where you can already add it to your wishlist. The game is being created on Unreal Engine 5. Next game, Jackal. Transhuman design studio, known for indie games such as King Arthur's Gold, Maniac, and Soul Dead, has announced a new project. It turned out to be a brutal top-down shooter called Jackal, similar to Hotline Miami. This game will tell the story of a Las Vegas hitman who has challenged crime bosses. Players will have to move through procedurally generated levels where enemy placement changes each time. You'll participate in bloody shootouts using firearms and cold weapons, as well as unlock various upgrades that affect gameplay. You'll have access to time slowdown, dual pistols, and more. According to the developers, the project is inspired by games such as Hotline Miami, Superhot, and John Wick. The developers didn't name a release date, but the game has already appeared on Steam, so if you like the game, add it to your wishlist so you don't forget about it. The release of Ghost of Yōtei, a new PlayStation exclusive, may take place in the coming months before the end of this year. Who would have thought? Developers Sucker Punch indirectly confirmed that they're already fully preparing for the game's release, and Senior Communications Manager Andrew Goldfarb posted a job vacancy on social media for a community marketing specialist who will help launch Ghost of Yōtei this year. It seems the studio is planning a marketing campaign for the game's imminent release, and I remind you that the events of Ghost of Yōtei will unfold 3 centuries after Ghost of Tsushima, in a completely new region of Japan. The main character will be a girl named Atsu, who will acquire firearms in addition to her katana. According to the developers, the sequel will feature a more lively open world and fix a number of shortcomings from the original Ghost of Tsushima. And those were all the games for today. If you noted something interesting for yourself, don't forget to leave a like in support of the video, and you can subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything, because what awaits you next is only bigger and more interesting collections. Thank you for your attention, and see you soon in the next videos.